What has simultaneously gotten worse and more expensive?
Cable TV. Edit. Thank you for the gold, kind stranger. It'll help the sting of having to threaten to cancel service next month.
New homes, cookie-cutter houses, built with cheap contractors who cut corners left and right, situated in neighborhoods with ever higher HOA fees. And the HOAs are getting more expensive too.
I agree with this one. I thought buying a newly built home would be great. Turns out everything is cheap. Those nice-looking baseboards, particle board, cabinets, particle board, nice front door, it's plastic and warps when the temperature changes. Everything looks nice, but at the core it's all super cheap material that was installed as fast as possible by the cheapest bidder.
Yep, I finally found myself in a position to buy a house 2 years ago, and figured I'd start by looking at new construction. So I went to a tour of new homes. Well, those 4 hours were enough to convince me I definitely didn't want new build. Everything was built cheaply, and some of them I was pretty worried about their location. Too close on flatland to waterways. So I wound up buying a house built in 1962. It's got some quirks, but it's well built and been well loved by the previous owners. Dry and warm in the winter, well shaded in the summer cause the trees have had decades to grow.
My university education, specifically this year, they are raising tuition and fall semester has no in-person sessions.
I don't envy college students during this crisis. I would be pissed, especially if I had a major dependent on university facilities, labs, etc. I honestly would highly consider a gap year or two. College kids of Reddit. Are any schools offering a gap year as an option?
Colleges don't offer gap years. You just don't register and then come back. You'll probably have to reapply. I can't imagine Hey wouldn't let you back in unless you were basically already failed out. Cable television. More commercials, channels upon channels of crap, ridiculous bill.
I remember when you could watch a show on cable without any commercials. That was its big selling point.
Photo booths. Oh, the old ones were so cool. 4 different real photos for $1. Now you pay $7 for 4 identical bad laser prints.
I remember the donuts at Dunkin' Donuts to be bigger and cheaper. There are more Krispy Kremes where I'm from, monsieur.
Health insurance.
Goddamn. Last year we ran out of money in our HSA in July. We were paying for everything out of pocket after that and praying for no major medical expenses. And we have Blue Cross Blue Shield. And it ain't cheap. What the hell are we paying for? This year has been a bit better. Ironically, because of Corona we haven't gone anywhere or done anything. So we actually have money in the HSA. Now we're like, what do we do with this money if we still have it in December? New glasses for everybody. Quote, Blue Cross Blue Shield has become such trash. It is so expensive and they don't even cover very much. $450 copay for visits and I had to pay for my root canals out of pocket. $1,200 each. I would have just gotten my teeth pulled but they were both in the front.
There used to be this burger joint called Joe's Cable Car near me. Great place. I miss it so much. A few months before it closed down, I was there and the owner, Joe, was having a heated conversation with one of his suppliers on the phone. After he hung up, he looked over at me and just said, "Price goes up, quality goes down." It took me a while to realize that that wasn't an asshole supplier he was dealing with, just a fact of life. People like Joe can't tolerate that. That's why the truly great things never last, only the mediocre things are able to endure long enough to degrade into the universally hated embodiment of entropy that the physical world allows for. It's the commodification of things. They lose their quality and uniqueness and become something to be pumped out at high volume and generally with reduced quality as prices slowly go up over time. Everything Nestle takes over.
WATERISNOTAHUMANRIGHT Nestle. All Cadbury's products,
In particular Cadbury's Cream Egg.
Kraft ruined it.
Ice cream containers that were originally 1/2 gallon have been shrinking. They went from 64 ounces to 56 ounces and now 48 ounces. But the price hasn't shrunk. It's been increasing steadily, and the quality often isn't as good as it used to be when containers were a true 1/2 gallon.
Breyers makes what looks like ice cream, but if you look at the box, there's no word of ice cream on it. Just frozen dessert.
Breyers is straight garbage for ice cream nowadays. It used to be decent just a few years back. Edit. I would say accurately 5 to 6 years ago Breyers had a good waffle cone and strawberry cheesecake one. I stopped eating it for a while and got one within the last year. And yes, Tillamook is legit delicious. They got a good waffle cone one. College education in the US.
Honestly, this is a great point and needs more upvotes. My dad paid off his school year with a summer job. I pay off 1 year with approximately 5 years of work and gradual repayment with interest. There's the perspective that online learning is just as good, which can be a fair point to make sometimes, but with the price of education staying the same even for these online courses, a comparison is to be made. Will the teachers be as integrated with their students? What of an intimate classroom setting where you get to view the reactions of your peers and have a fluid conversation? I think it will depend on the class whether it can be done effectively. But I don't think it's worth $50,000 per year. Access to the same facilities, resources, etc., is definitely lacking with online learning. Education has also predominantly become a business, and for many institutions this way of business has degraded at the quality of education as dollars are stowed to pay the high-ranked staff. I can't say more money isn't better, but there are diminishing returns. As an observer, the next couple decades are going to be pretty fascinating for higher ed. There's no traditional bubble to be burst, a la housing, because it's much harder to wipe out student loans. It's going to be interesting to see whether traditional college becomes too expensive except for the elite, or people are going to continue to take on more and more loans. I think it's likely we'll see a much higher instance of people doing 2 years at a community college and transferring those credits to complete a degree at a name-brand school, and increasingly stronger pushes to reduce tuition at those name-brand schools. Housing. Edit. Thanks for the award, kind stranger. I didn't think my comment would get this much attention. But wow, I remember my first one-bedroom apartment was $450 a month in a suburb. Came with covered parking and there were no weird extra fees. Man, that was nice.
Clothes. Even a sweater from the Gap is like $70 now, even though the quality is about 10% better than Old Navy. Goddamn it, clothes retailers. Settle down or I will go naked. Edit. To the people suggesting thrift stores. I agree. It's thrilling to find something special and cheap. You wash it, you're good to go. Plus retail clothing is so effing expensive nowadays that I would rather someone else take the hit of driving it off the lot.
What I hate about this is all the brand names are super expensive, but they are still all made by slaves in poor countries. I would be willing to pay the higher price if it was actually made in Canada or US. But it's not.
Privacy and anonymity. This coming from an avid Apple user. Apple computers. I'd rather take 1 centimeter extra thickness and more ports than using a hub for everything. For sure. This obsession with slim and light bothers me. If I wanted slim and light I would have bought an Air. I need a laptop that I can travel with, is sufficiently powerful to run the programs I need for work, Can connect to a projector, external HD, charge, and maybe plug in an SD card all at the same time, and seamlessly interface with our cluster which runs Linux. The MacBook Pro ending around 2015 was as close to perfect as you can get for an off-the-shelf laptop. I hate phone reviewers. They always seem to focus on such useless bullshit that I couldn't care about. Guess what, reviewers? I don't care that the Pixel 3a has a bezel or a subpar processor. I just want a phone that doesn't cost $1,100. Edit. I realized you said Apple computers, but I'm still gonna complain about the phones.
Size of bags of chips.
I mean, the bags have gotten bigger, but suddenly they need to sell you more air as well. College tuition. When I hear college used to be paid with a summer job, my eyes get watery. I'm a college student. I'm sure this will get overlooked, but KFC. I remember growing up, the whole family could eat there and it was great. Now it's just garbage, super greasy, and will cost you an arm and a leg for a dang bucket of chicken. They have gotten way worse and the price has went up. Yeah, I remember big styrofoam cylinders stuffed with sides. Now it's $5 for frozen dinner bowls worth.
Scented candles. Yankee Candle in particular used to be the candle that was considered premier monsieur, but while they've never been cheap, at least a while ago it was worth the money. But now they're just exorbitant in price. They don't smell like they used to, and they are not worth the money. People outside the UK probably won't care, but the Christmas tins of Quality Street Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't know if it's just me, but their prices have gone up and the quality has gone down. Restaurants follow this pattern. Mid-high tier national franchise restaurants trends. Panera, Five Guys, Chipotle, Buffalo Wild Wings. It's the place to be. The food's good and priced reasonable. Years pass. Food still good but slightly more expensive. Years passed. Food had degraded noticeably in quality, but because of the established brand they charge the same, if not raise prices slightly. People still go but begin mumbling. Years pass. Food is a shell of its former self at prices higher than ever before. No one eats there anymore, but they might scrap by because if they sell one meal they paid rent. This is Panera Bread right now. And this has been their timeline. Edit. Five Guys is and always has been consistent quality. Panera used to be the shit. In college, my friends and I practically feasted on bread bowls. Now I just don't go. Smaller portions, stale bread, poorly made soup. Such a shame. Certain house appliances. My grandma has had the same fridge for 40 years. My parents recently had to replace theirs. It's their third in 20 years. On the other hand, you don't want a 40-year-old fridge because they are super energy inefficient. Good point. Next time I'll visit her, I'll check the wattage. Ice cream with fudge in it. Used to get massive slabs of fudge, now they just have tiny nuggets. I can pretty much only stand to buy Ben & Jerry's these days. It ruined other, frozen dairy desserts for me. All of the brownies that Ben & Jerry's used come from a bakery that hires ex-convicts and homeless people. They do it to help people get back on their feet. I love that. I swear that Reese's peanut butter cups have gotten shittier over the years. The peanut butter seems chalkier and the chocolate tastes blander. Plus I can't ever seem to pry them out of that little cup wrapper without leaving the bottom chocolate skin stuck to it. I think the push to put them in the freezer and eat them chilled is a ploy to cover the declining quality. I just buy the cheap store brand since they use thicker chocolate and better peanut butter. Toys. I have toys from 10 years ago that are still in great condition for a low price. But the toys I see on shelves nowadays look like crap and are hella expensive. Not to mention break within 5 minutes of use. Doesn't apply to Lego. Edit. Alright, I gotta mute this now cause my phone is blowing up. But it was nice to talk to all you guys. I'm glad we can all mostly agree on this. Second edit. Okay, I know it's mostly seen as cringy, but to the person who just gave me gold, thank you so much.
I've never gotten a gold award before. So thank you.
Honestly, Lego, while getting more expensive, is the one toy that actually got better. Well, Lego does get more expensive as you age, but that's just cause you want more expensive sets. One day the Lunar Lander set will be mine. One day.
Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.